All right, so we're going to be pumping out some backlog content just so I have some content to feed out throughout the week or two. Yeah. The topic I want to touch on now is, do you want to be known as the drunk? Like, is that how you want to be perceived? Like, I always battled with that. In my young 20s, it didn't really faze me because it was just sort of accepted. Like, that's what everyone did. And then once I got in my later 20s, you know, friends started settling down, getting married, having kids. And me and my core group of drinking buddies still were doing the same thing, you know, bar, house parties, bar. That sort of tethered off, you know, into my late 20s, early 30s. Became more of like the bar scene. The bar was always there, right? But house parties definitely faded out after like 27 to 20, you know, late 20s. Every year that passes by, more and more people are getting married, having kids. And it's like the bar is the prevalent place. And I never really cared for the bar as much as other people. I have spent my time there, like I've said. But when you hit your late 20s, you start questioning, like, this isn't a good look, you know, to family, friends, like drinking to excess. It's not as cute. When you're young, you're partying, people are throwing up, people are passed out. It's like the cool thing to do, you know? So when you're doing it, you don't really think nothing of it. I didn't really think anything of it either in my young 20s. Then in my late 20s, it was like, all right, this isn't looking so pretty, you know? And then definitely into the 30s, you know, 40s, 50s, there's people that continue all the way to the end of their life, or they learn very late in life. And yeah, definitely in my 30s, it's like I'm getting too old for this stuff, you know? It's pathetic. So I just didn't want to, you know, when I was actively drinking, even sitting in this very spot, I was thinking, man, this is pathetic. I'm going to be hiding from people, you know? And, you know, people at the bar were whatever, because a lot of the same people are down there doing the same thing. That's why I never really cared for the bar. It's the same faces, same conversations. It's like they're stuck in time or something. Even when I was still actively drinking, I'd go down once a month or two. There were stints where I'd go every other weekend, and the same people were doing the same things in the same spots, drinking the same beer, liquor, whatever. It's like, I just never understood that, because that was never me. I'm not hating, but there's a lot of truth to that. So yeah, do you want to leave this world as that as your legacy? Like you were the town drunk, or you were just a big drinker, you know? Or do you want to be the guy that gets his stuff together, you know, and has met goals and has something to show for it? You know, which path are you going to choose? I'm not saying you can't actively drink and, you know, build a foundation, because I've done that too, but it definitely was at a much slower pace. And I was still a degenerate, pathetic person while drinking. So when I did drink, so that was still on my back, right? Now that's a non-issue for now. Hopefully the rest of my life, that's a non-issue. It's not a pretty thing, you know, not being able to walk, falling down, not able to speak. You know, it's not a good look from the outside in. I always hated seeing myself drunk, because I would stream drunk sometimes. And like, when I would see those clips, it would cringe me to my soul, you know? It would just cringe me out. I'm sure some of you guys feel that way. If you're ever like filmed, I was never like filmed out in the wild, like at the bars or parties really too much, you know, back in the day. Yeah, but it's not a good look, you know, but is that how you want to be perceived? You know, or do you want to be the guy that stopped and then have people going, wow, he gave it up. How did he do that? Then you have your drinking buddy still actively drinking, like, wow, he did it. You know, even though some of their minds, they don't even care or even have a forethought of quitting. And that's on them. Like I said, I'll make another video too. In sobriety, it's not your job to preach at all. I know a lot of people actively drinking themselves into oblivion, and they have no finances. They're broke. And they spend their last penny on drinking, their bills, and then drinking, right? Just so they can get by. And I don't preach to these people. You know, if people want to ask about it, I'll tell them. Just like, you know, I can talk all day about it. I can give tips, recommendations, life experiences, but I'm not going to talk to somebody who's actively drinking and try to convince them to quit, because they're not going to, unless they have to have a vested interest in quitting before it's even going to be a thing. So it's whatever. It's not worth wasting your time. People are going to change when they want to change, and they may not ever change. They may end up in a grave and go out that way, but that's on them. Some people are stuck in their ways. But the thing is, there's some people that alcohol is affecting way worse than it ever affected me. And it's like, man, just give it up. You'd be in such a better place in just 6 months, you know? In just 6 months, you can be in such a better place. Just the finances alone, especially people that are at the bar spending, you know, $30, $40 a stint out. They're spending, you know, $700+ a month, depending on your use and how much you're spending at the bar, right? And that adds up. It's just crazy to me they could go 3 months without drinking and have $1,500 to their name when they have no more than a couple hundred at the moment, or even maybe not even that. But the sacrifices you make today will end up being, you know, your treasures in the future. It pays off down the line. I firmly believe that. But you don't want to be perceived as that. Nobody does, right? No substance user wants to be perceived as that. When it's out of control, it's pathetic. And that person, when you're blackout, that's not you. That's basically the alcohol. It's almost like your soul leaves your body. It's funny because it's called a spirit, you know, wine and spirits. Liquor's a spirit. It's almost like it takes your spirit from you. First the man takes the drink, then the drink takes the man. That quote has always stuck with me. Let me see if I can load. Let's see if we can find an image. This one really stuck with me. Yeah, here it is. This is a wild photo. Right here. My webcam's off, but this was shown to me like a year ago. It stuck with me. This is perfect for alcoholism. You drink so much till you're at the bottom of the bottle, and then you're stuck in it. It's an endless pit. You become the liquor, right? You lose yourself to the liquor. But yeah, that's a great photo. I saved that in my phone. That's a great one. It's a constant reminder for me of what alcoholism's like. And some people are way worse into it than I ever was. But anyways, I wanted to share that with you. I want to make a video on some quotes and some use cases down the line too. But as for now, that's about it. It's just, you don't want to be known as that, you know? You want to be known as the person that overcame it, that progressed without it. Being a drunk is not pretty. Being a weekend binge drinker is not pretty. You know, people could be in like, oh, he's at it again, or oh, you know, always like this. It's not pretty. Be the outlier. Go against the grain, you know?